A few days ago I remembered something strange for the first time in about 3 years. In 2nd grade, and then again in 4th grade, our class was forced to watch an educational series on economics called Econ and Me. You may have seen this song from the ending. But you probably didn't realize what it was from. After looking up what I remembered, I was able to find it in about 5 minutes, and after watching a bit of it, I knew I had to cover this on my channel. The show centers around a group of friends who find a book in one of their houses, and after throwing it into a box, the main character that the book is written about, named Econ, comes out of the book to teach these kids about economics in one of the most incredibly awkward scenes I've seen in any educational media ever.
Ouch! Who said that? I did. Don't you know you're not supposed to throw books?
Did you hear that? I heard it.
You almost crushed me, and you squashed my dinner.
Who are you?
If you'd read the book instead of throwing it, you'd know. My name is Jeremiah E. Connery, but my friends all call me Econ.
Econ? Econ?
It's short for economics. That's my specialty.
Econ? Then that book is about you?
Right. I'm the incredible Econ. And as long as I'm here, I might as well help you with your economic problems.
The show was produced in 1989 and was aimed at the teachers of children in quote-unquote primary grades, age 7 to 10. There are 5 episodes teaching about various economic concepts, and all of the acting is about the same quality as the clip I just showed you. But despite the awkward acting, the show managed to be one of the most brilliant pieces of art I've ever witnessed. At first, this seems like a video topic with scarce possibilities, but upon further inspection into the show, I've devised a theory that Econ is not what he seems. Why is he teaching these children about economics? What is he hoping to accomplish? And how does this even benefit him? The first third of episode 1 is dedicated to introducing the characters of the show, and the other 2/3 are dedicated to introducing the concept of scarcity. Like I said in the intro, they drop a book about Econ, and he comes out of it to teach them economics. But let's look closer into his actions in the scene, and see if they give us any ideas about why he might be doing this. When he first comes out of the book, he introduces himself, notices they have an economic problem, and decides to help them out on the spot. One of the kids says they don't have an economic problem, and where any other magical book creature would have admitted their mistake and left these kids alone, Econ proceeds to gaslight them into believing that they do indeed have an economic problem that he has to help them with. This is a very subtle hint that, to the average viewer, may not mean anything, but tells the attentive viewer that Econ is not the hero that he seems to be on the surface. He definitely has ulterior motives, but it still doesn't really explain what exactly they are. The rest of the episode revolves around him helping the kids build a clubhouse in order to solve their so-called economic problem, building up dangerous levels of trust, and forcing more meaningless jargon into their heads in order to build even more. They build the clubhouse, and then it falls apart due to a distinct lack of carpentry skills, and the episode ends. When episode 2 comes around, a new clubhouse has been built by their parents over the weekend, and Econ appears again when one of the characters says she misses the swing set that the clubhouse was built over. He tells her again how, when you make a choice, something else has to be given up, and tells her about an experience he had with that. The experience itself isn't important. What's important is how, later in this tangent, he uses even more rhetoric, namely that of the decision tree, which further obscures his motives and convinces the children to blindly trust him by showing that he always knows what's best, even if the children don't necessarily understand why, which is something that they are evidently starting to believe, considering that they're able to repeat his rhetoric back to him on multiple occasions.
Time is a limited resource, and that's your opportunity cost. Why not take a look at our old decision tree?
In the clips I just showed you, you may have noticed some of the children using an odd phrase. During the segment about his quote-unquote decision tree, Econ also introduces the children to another smart-sounding term called an opportunity cost, which he defines as anything you give up when making a choice. The kids immediately take to this term and use it as a tool to justify their increasingly rash behavior. At first, episode 3 looks like a redemption arc for Econ. He talks to the camera a lot, but he barely interacts with the children at all, and it looks like he's genuinely trying to change for the better, and possibly even seek professional help. And then, almost exactly at the halfway mark, he shatters our hopes and immediately reverts back to his old ways, brainwashing children and such. Some other children come along and tell the main cast that they're holding a capitalism party where they can buy cool goods and services. They taunt the most easily angered of the group, and he ends up convincing the rest of them to go with him. Econ comes along, of course, and tells the children more about economics. The story itself is again dull, but it's in this episode that Econ's motives start to become a little less obscure. But if you haven't caught on yet, I'll explain. You may have realized that, over the course of the series, the children have gotten much more aggressive, not just with each other, but with other people as well. Compare these clips from the beginning of episode 1.
How's this? Fantastic.
Great. Where's Sean?
Right here, I found some hats. Give me one.
Me too. This one's mine.
A clubhouse. Who built one? Where? Right here in my backyard. You think we can?
Sure. I'll ask my mom.
To these two from episode 3.
Mom's going to be in the Duncan booth. If you hit the target, he gets wet. But you'll never hit me anyway, so I don't have to worry. That settles it. I'll be there. If it's okay with my mom. And bring your imaginary friend, Econ, if you can find him. I hope you're ready to get wet. Missed again! You still can't hit the target.
Come on, Sean. I'm hungry and I still haven't looked for baseball cards.
Not yet.
But you're almost out of money. You don't even have enough for a new ball.
I guess that's my opportunity cost for knocking Tom into the tank. Not even close. Why don't you try again?
I'll get you this time.
Hey, you guys, I just bought this great book.
Not now, Lisa. Let the man concentrate.
Off by a mile. I don't believe it. You're terrible. Oh, yeah? Watch this. You missed me. You missed me.
Be quiet, Tom.
Why should I be quiet? You guys can't hit the broadside of a barn. Missed again.
One more try. After this, I'm broke.
Off by a mile. Why don't you let your imaginary friend Econ take a shot? He has to be better than you. He's not imaginary. Come on, Kevin, try. Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
I don't think so.
Why not?
There are too many other things I want.
Like what?
Oh, baseball cards, a hot dog. Or maybe I'll just save my money.
Hey, what's the matter? You guys scared? No, sure.
And you may have realized that Econ is all too encouraging of this inappropriate behavior. You may also, at this point, begin to draw some parallels between the actions of Econ and those of the infamous cult leader Charles Manson, but I'll get into that a bit later. Episodes 4 and 5 are a particularly sinister two-part subplot. Econ starts with a ramble about production, dense with foreshadowing, and by the end of episode 4, he manipulates the children into putting on a play in his honor, the initiation ceremony into Econ's cult-like organization. Episode 5 revolves around them preparing and performing the play, and that's where the song I showed you in the beginning came from. This episode is truly what shows Econ's true colors. These subtle hints from earlier episodes come to the forefront of the story, in a satisfyingly dark conclusion, and now that I've laid out all the evidence, I can finally get into dissecting the nuances in this well-disguised narrative in the amount of detail that I would like to. So, what is Econ really doing all of this for? If you are paying attention to what I've been saying, you'll probably already know what I'm hinting at, especially with the line in my summary of episode 3 when I mentioned the similarities between Econ and Charles Manson. In case you weren't aware, Charles Manson was a famous cult leader who brainwashed quite a few people to follow him and commit atrocities on his behalf, and if you look at Econ's behavior, you can see that he's doing the exact same thing. There is no way of knowing what sorts of things Econ wants these children to do after the manipulation has taken its course, but no matter what it is, it can't be good. All we can know is that Econ, a magical man from inside a book, saw a group of vulnerable people and took advantage of it, gaslighting them until all they know for certain is that econ is always right, and following his every command is always the path to salvation. I personally believe that econ may be trying to manipulate the children into taking on important political positions and creating and passing laws that bring the country closer and closer to his ideal ideology, anarcho-capitalism. The only thing econ is shown to care about is economics, and he seems to be particularly fond of capitalism, so it really isn't that far-fetched to say that a master manipulator with a love of capitalistic values would want to, and possibly be able to manipulate other people into helping him achieve his dream of pure unmonitored capitalism. Truthfully, Economy is a brilliant retelling of Charles Manson's story, with a highly interesting twist, and it's all hidden within an innocent-seeming educational series about economics for young children. Economy is truly a work of art that will surely go down in history as one of the most brilliant things ever created.